Hello there, Sarah from 17 once again, introducing you to my Mass Effect 3 Insanity difficulty video walkthrough. This is once again back on Rannoch, and we're now saving the Admiral. So this is the final Geth mission. After this you'll not be fighting them again, unless maybe you do a side mission and they turn up. But on the main game, this is pretty much it for the Geth. And once again, if you take Tally with you, it's going to make a lot of it very simple, because the sabotage is just ridiculously powerful. And this first firefight here shouldn't be too bad, because you do have the high ground. Where it can be difficult is if the enemies space out enough and you start getting tagged by people you can't see. But for the most, you just want to keep on watching, keep on seeing where the enemies are moving. Make sure you give your team good equipment. And if you're doing the side quests and things and you're upgrading your guns, you should probably be having some pretty decent armories by now. But even though my guns are level 1, you may notice they do still do the job, so they're not that noticeably bad, which is quite awesome. Because I've upgraded all my weapons now on this file, and I don't really see that much of a difference, if I'm honest. I know it sounds like they look better and things, because everything that you read is like, oh, it'll increase this, this, and this, and this, and it does. It just, I don't know, the feel of the guns, they still feel like the same guns that I was using through the game. Maybe it's a placebo, who knows. But this is a pretty long level, this one, because you're going to be fighting a lot. And that's probably my only criticism with it. There's not so much of, breakups in the combat as there have been in some of the other ones. It's kind of just A to B to C. And maybe this is because the last few levels have been nothing but exposition for some of them. I don't know. But this one is very combat heavy. As that Geth climbs up onto the shelf there and gets gang raped. And speaking of gang rape, which is an awful thing to segue into, I mentioned on the podcast that there was that whole almost internet reality TV based show on the competitive fighting games league. And there was the whole, there's a lot of controversialness over it because they're saying that people are being sexist. And there's this one personality on the show who's acting like a dickhead, basically. He's just saying really inappropriate things. He's making it very, isolatory, which is isolating a lot of people. And it's just crazy, really. And I haven't looked into it, but when I was listening to the Giant Bombcast, their news reporter was going into some details with it, where he's hopefully going to have a story explaining a bunch more of it, and they were quoting what this guy is saying, and yeah, he's been throwing around some wicked terms, just really the type of stuff you hear on Xbox Live that people would never say to you in the flesh, because if they did, you'd feed them the teeth. And you can't smack a child, unfortunately, because these days it's illegal to physically educate children, but like just crazy things to say. I mean, who throws around internet terminology to people they don't know in front of a camera that is being aired under regulations that are about as strict as it comes? It's just crazy. People think that just because it's on the internet means that it's not going to be moderated in any single way. They seem to think that they have complete immunity to say whatever they want. I mean, even on YouTube, like, if you're a small channel, you can say whatever you like. You can deny the Holocaust. You can say anything. You could say that, life was better when we all had a black slave. You could do whatever you want. And sure, if somebody stumbles on your video, they're going to be like, yo, dude, you're a fucking disgrace of a human being. You shouldn't say such awful things. But you can still say them. I mean, if your moral compass is that perverted, go for it. It's your right to do so. But if you were to get sponsored or partnered or get into any, professional position, there is no way in fucking hell you could carry on saying that things, because you would be dropped faster than like a bad case of hemorrhoids, man. You'd just be falling out an asshole. Ridiculous. And this guy I think he's even sponsored because he's a really good fighting game player, and he just doesn't care. He's just going for it. Everything he says is intended to elicit a response that's making people mad. And there's nothing better than trolling, idiots, but like, a lot of people watching this program aren't idiots. It's just crazy. And there's a couple of internet programs like that. Like there's the I think Sony does a next game tester program, which is kind of like, American Idol or X Factor, but with games. And my god, I wish I could get on that fucking program. I would pay money to get on that program, purely because at the end of it, who knows, you may be able to get contacts to actually get into the games industry, because I mean that's what it's all about if you're passionate about games, is just getting your foot in the door. And not only would I think it make good TV, but like, oh, just so many opportunities would come from that. And it'd really show you how good these people that go on these programs are, because I don't know about your folk, but when I ever watch any kind of television show that's focused around games, even when I go to websites where the people are professional reviewers, when you watch them play, it's like, guy's not that good. How do you not get good at games when you're this exposed to them? A lot of it is down to they don't have, you know, as long to play the games they want to, because they have to play other games because it's the job. And I get that completely, but I don't know, like, for me personally, when I get to a certain, you know, shall we say precipice in gaming, when you get to a certain level of gaming, you stay at that level and it's universal. Like, obviously, if you don't play for a long time, you'll probably get worse. And if you play one game and nothing but that one game, you'll get really good at that one game. But, like, if you just play the same amount of games, but they're all different games, you don't get worse at playing them. It's kind of strange, I don't get it, but there is a lot of people in the games industry that get to play these games early, and they're absolutely terrible at them. And I'm not trying to sound mean or elitist or anything, but if it's your job to do an E3, you know, promotional video where you're the guy on stage with the dude talking about the game and you're playing it, and you're not very good at the game, kind of says, you know, maybe you're not in the right place. But I don't know if anybody's been watching that game tester. I've actually never seen any of it. It's just the idea, the whole concept that you can get on a show where at the end of it you can win the spot in being a professional game tester sounds amazing. Because one of the main motivations for me to create this YouTube channel is to make a digital portfolio that might one day get me into either working for a gaming website, working for a gaming company, or starting my own, you know, kind of journalistic gaming or game guide site. That is the goal. That is the dream. I mean, on top of all the friends I've made, and on top of all the cool people that help me, and just the fact that I've been able to turn my hobby and my passion into something more constructive, the overall dream is big. You've got to look big. What's the fucking point in being like, yeah, I want to sit on dole every day and, you know, drink myself into a stupor playing video games and, you know, just ruining my life, basically. That has never been who I am, and you've got to aim big, and that is my big aim. So yeah, if anybody knows any of the producers of that TV show or that internet show, that web show, whatever the hell it is, and you can you know, get me in there, feel free to do so. I will love you forever. But this game right now, this part of Mass Effect is all headshotting Geth. The Geth are so susceptible to headshots, your sniper rifle is going to be having a field day. And especially if you bring Liara with you, stasis, headshot, good night. There is nothing they can do. And the levels are, you know, so identikit when it comes to the cover and the architecture on some of them that you've always got something suspicious looking to stand behind and spam bullets from. And like this, these guys have been decoyed, so what can they do to kill you right now? There's nothing they can do. It almost feels unfair. And there's a fight coming up against a couple of Geth Primes, and the first time I got there without the knowledge of Tali's ability, that was a really tough fight. I died a whole bunch of times, but on my guide, I realised that Tali is, you know, an absolute whore when it comes to smashing Geth, and the book was closed, the story was done, you know. It would have been stamped and packaged and sent out the door. It was easy. Ooh, that right there is the shotgun that the hunters use, the Geth shotgun. And I think you can charge it up and it does a massive shot, so it's well worth using if you like shotguns. As Shepard says, I hope it works, and I'm not too sure why. It's all out of context when the volume's this low. But salvage the gear, pick up the Medigels, and this is an interesting room, this one. There's a couple of firefights in here. The first one's easy, the second one involves a flamethrower guy, and if he gets close to you, say goodbye to your life. And then the third one is when that elevator to my right over there, where I'm looking right now, that comes down and there's an Eden Prime. Oh, I've done it again. I do apologise, people. There is a Geth Prime. It's so ingrained. It's hilarious. But this is kind of cool, this level, because there's a lot of the machinery's moving, a lot of the environments are doing things, and I'm all for, you know, visually interesting environments. I think that's actually what the next-gen consoles should really be focusing on now that they're going to be getting better processing power and things. As that dude gets turned into ice cream by James's carnage. But you need to press these consoles to activate the next spawns as well. If you don't press them, the game doesn't progress. And sometimes it can be difficult to know what you can and can't press because it doesn't always show that orange prompt. But whenever you see that on the screen, that is a bad sign. If ever the game says survive, it generally means it's gonna suck. But luckily enough, this section is not too bad. But as I was saying anyhow, the next gen consoles are getting so powerful and you know, just so much that they're going to be able to do on top of what we can already do, that I'm expectant of the next games that are going to be coming, the next revolution of games. And I don't think they're going to look all that better, because games right now have got to the point where they look really good. There isn't all that much more you can do visually except for fidelity. And don't take that wrongly, obviously. They're going to look a lot nicer, a lot sharper. There's going to be a whole heap of more detail that they can achieve. But the direction I would like to see is just more activity in the environments, just more assets on screen at once. Like, I would like ambience to feel ambient as opposed to artificial, because some games, they look beautiful, but they look dead. They look like it's not a thriving world. And just that motion that you can see right now of that conveyor belt moving, just that little touch gives this a little bit more oomph. It makes it stand out. And I'm all for that type of shit. I love it. And I think the only real threat that you run is if it's scripted, because a lot of developers make sections like that very heavily scripted. And I don't want it to be scripted. I want it to be natural. And I have absolutely no idea how hard this stuff is to program. It could be a complete nightmare, but I am a gamer, I am a consumer, and thus I have 1,000,001 demands that will probably never be met. So, run around this area, pick up as much ammo as you can. What I'm doing here is I'm checking to make sure there's no cheeky heavy weapon, because every single time you come up against a stack of heavies, they generally throw you a bit of a mercy weapon down to make the fight a little easier. This does not seem to be the case. Luckily enough, it's only one of the Geths. He does come with buddies, and what I like to do is I like to move down this middle flank, and I like to wait for him and then hit him, I think, with a sniper rifle. And if you've been mining right now and you use a sniper rifle, chances are you'll have the Black Widow, because on my first playthrough, I know I did. But I'm going to hit him with sabotage, so he's going to fight his buddies, and then I'm going to shoot him in the back, because I'm an honourable soldier. I'm just going to keep pinging him. I mentioned on my previous video a couple of future topics as well, a couple of future projects and all that good stuff. Another thing I'm hopefully going to try and work with is, when I do finally get another microphone, it's one of those things that, because right now I'm financially not in a spot where it's comfortable to do so, I'm going to get it when I am, and it'll happen eventually. I'm not rushing it. I don't need to. The quality I achieve right now is still pretty good, but the Blue Snowball will open up a lot of doors for live commentaries and for group commentaries. And what I mean by this is, in the future, certain guides, or just random guides, whenever I feel like it's about time to make something different, I'm probably going to enlist one of my friends to help me do a guest commentary. And what I mean by this is, pretty much every video on my channel is me. And some people love that, some people probably don't love that. And sometimes there's only so much you can say. And I do enjoy doing the solo commentaries, and I will always do solo ones. But every so often it might be fun to bring like Aiden in, or bring Lummy in, or bring some of my other friends that you don't know on YouTube yet, and just sit and talk strategy about the game, but then have something to riff with them about, and you know, just make it a little bit different, a little bit more enjoyable. Just a couple of ideas I'm throwing around. I know it's been done before. I do not think I'm a pioneer by any chance, but I have some pretty fun conversations, so they might translate pretty well. So thanks for watching anyhow, and you take care now.